The dashboard camera footage played in absolute silence. Courtroom fluorescent lights flickered against the projection screen. 18 months had passed since that October night, but the images remained sharp, crystal clear, unforgiving. A house, suburban California, darkness broken by a single porch light. Three shadows moved across the frame. The timestamp read 21:47, Thursday night. The kind of quiet evening when decent people locked their doors and trusted the world to leave them alone. The kind of evening that ended in blood, but that came later. First there was Harrison Brennan, 70 years old, Gulf War veteran, Purple Heart recipient, former artillery sergeant who'd survived Iraqi Scud missiles and Republican Guard ambushes. A man who'd held the line when Saddam's forces pushed south toward Saudi Arabia in 1991. A man who thought he'd left war behind 32 years ago. He was wrong. The kitchen window shattered at exactly 21:49. Harrison heard it from his recliner in the living room. The evening news played low. Documentary about Desert Storm. Ironic, really. Diesel's ears went up first. The German Shepherd, 12 years old, retired military working dog, sensed danger 3 full seconds before the glass broke. His growl started deep, primal, the kind of warning that came from instinct older than civilization. Harrison reached for his cane. His left knee, the one held together with pins and scar tissue from an IED blast outside Kuwait City, screamed as he stood. Arthritis had settled into the joint like an unwelcome tenant who refused to leave. "Easy, boy," Harrison whispered, his voice steady despite the spike of adrenaline. Combat training never fully left, even after 3 decades. Probably just neighborhood kids. But Diesel's growl said otherwise. The back door crashed open. Not picked, not finessed. Kicked. The deadbolt tore through the frame like paper. Wood splintered. 3 figures poured into his kitchen. Dark hoodies, bandanas covering faces. Young, all of them young. Harrison's military mind cataloged details automatically. Threat assessment, exit routes, defensive positions, the same calculations that had kept him alive in Iraq. 3 against 1. He was 70, disabled, alone. The odds were not good. The tall one entered first, leader by posture, confident, entitled. He carried a crowbar like he knew how to use it. The stocky one followed. Muscle, baseball bat gripped in both hands. The youngest brought up the rear. Phone already out, already filming. Well, the leader's voice was young, mid-20s maybe, educated. The kind of voice that came from suburban comfort in private schools. "Look what we got here. Grandpa's still awake." Harrison's hand tightened on his cane. He shifted weight to his good leg. "My wallet's on the dresser. Take it. Take whatever you want. Just leave." "Whatever we want." The muscle laughed, deep, ugly. "You hear that, Trent? He's giving us permission." Trent, Harrison filed the name away. Not that it would matter if they killed him, but habits died hard. "Please," Harrison kept his voice level, calm, the same tone he'd used with frightened soldiers under fire. "I'm 70 years old. I'm disabled. I don't have much worth taking." "Don't have much." The kid with the phone moved closer. 19 maybe? Baby-faced. The kind of kid who should be in college, not breaking into veterans' homes. "Bro, look at these walls. Military stuff everywhere. Bet we could get good money for this crap." He grabbed Harrison's Purple Heart off the wall. The medal Harrison had earned in Kuwait. The one his wife Sarah had framed for him before cancer took her 3 years ago. The one that represented 2 months in a field hospital and a year learning to walk again. "That's not for sale." Harrison's voice dropped, hard, flat. "That's mine. I earned it." "You earned it." The kid turned it over in his hands. "Looks like cheap metal to me." "Give it back." Harrison took a step forward. His knee buckled. The cane slipped. He caught himself on the wall. Pain shot through his leg like lightning. Trent shoved him. Harrison went down hard. The cane clattered away. His shoulder hit the hardwood floor. His already damaged knee twisted wrong. 70 years old. Gulf War veteran. Purple Heart recipient. On the floor in his own home. Diesel lunged. The German Shepherd's teeth found Trent's arm. Tore through the hoodie. Drew blood. Trent screamed. High-pitched. Terrified. All that confidence evaporating in half a second. "Get this mutt off me." The stocky one swung the bat. It connected with Diesel's ribs with a sound Harrison would hear in nightmares for months. Wet. Organic. Wrong. Diesel yelped. Released Trent. Stumbled back. Tried to stand. Failed. "No." Harrison tried to get up. Couldn't. His knee wouldn't support him. "Don't hurt him." He's just protecting me. Please don't. The boot caught him in the ribs. Once, twice, three times. Harrison heard something crack, felt something give way inside him, tasted blood in his mouth. He'd bitten his tongue when he fell. You like that, old man? The stocky one stood over him. Cole, Trent shouted his name. Another detail for the file. That's what happens when you let your dog attack people. He was defending me. Harrison gasped. Each breath felt like broken glass. You broke into my home. What did you expect? Another kick. This one to his head. The world went white, then red, then gray around the edges. Harrison's vision blurred. His ears rang. Concussion. Definitely concussion. We expected you to shut up and stay down. Trent wrapped his bleeding arm with his hoodie. Old people are supposed to be easy. Not fight back, not cause problems. The youngest one, the one with the phone, laughed. Blake, man, you getting this? Got it all, bro. Blake moved closer, filming Harrison struggling to breathe. This is going to get so many views. Views, they were filming this, social media. Harrison couldn't process it, couldn't understand. They were treating his suffering like entertainment, like content, like he wasn't human. Please, the word came out as a whisper, please. The dog needs a vet. He's hurt. I can pay. I have money. How much? Trent asked. My disability check. It came yesterday, $600. It's in the kitchen, in the coffee can. Take it. Take everything. Just please help my dog. Trent looked at Cole, at Blake. Then he laughed. 600. That's it. That's what you're offering. It's all I have. I'm on a fixed income, but please. Nah. Trent shook his head. We'll take the 600. But the dog, he's your problem. They moved through his house like locusts, opening drawers, pulling out valuables. Harrison could hear them in the bedroom, in Sarah's jewelry box, the one that held her wedding ring, her grandmother's pearls, the locket with pictures of Mackenzie as a baby. Not that, Harrison's voice broke completely. Those were my wife's. She died 3 years ago. That's all I have left of her. Please. Your dead wife's jewelry, Blake filmed Harrison's face, got a close-up of the tears. Bro, that's dark. It's not dark, it's all I have. Memories, that's all. Harrison tried to move. His ribs screamed. His knee was useless. He could only lie there, helpless, while strangers tore apart the life he'd spent 70 years building. Cole came back carrying a small wooden box. Sarah's jewelry, her wedding ring. Harrison had saved for 3 months to buy that ring. 1984, 2 years before Mackenzie was born. 2 years before Sarah died, giving birth to their only child. Good haul. Cole opened the box, examined the contents. These look real. They are. Harrison's voice was barely audible. That ring, I gave her that ring 50 years ago. I saved for 3 months to buy it. Please, you can have everything else. But please, that ring. Trent took the box, opened it, looked at the contents. Then he looked at Harrison. Really looked at him. This broken old man on the floor, bleeding, crying, begging. And Trent smiled. You know what your problem is, old man. You think you matter. You think because you fought in some war 1,000,000 years ago, because you got these medals, because you got memories, you think that makes you special. Harrison didn't answer, couldn't. But you're not special. You're just old, used up, forgotten. Nobody cares about old soldiers anymore. Nobody cares about you. The words hit harder than the kicks, because part of Harrison believed them, had believed them since Sarah died, since he'd realized he was alone. That his friends from the Gulf were dead or dying, that his neighbors barely knew his name, that his daughter was deployed 7,000 miles away fighting someone else's war, that he could disappear and the world would keep spinning without noticing. My daughter cares, Harrison whispered. She's deployed, military, she sends money, she calls when she can. She abandoned you. Trent finished, just like everyone else, because you're invisible, Grandpa. You're already dead. You just haven't figured it out yet. Diesel whimpered, tried to crawl toward Harrison, couldn't make it. Harrison reached out his hand, fingers trembling. Diesel, it's okay, boy, I'm here. Trent stepped on Harrison's outstretched hand, ground his boot down. Harrison screamed, Dude! Blake laughed behind the camera. That's cold. Shut up and keep filming, Trent ordered. This is good content. Content. They were treating his suffering like entertainment, like something to consume and discard, like he was already nothing. Cole came back from the bedroom carrying something else, a framed photograph. Sarah and Harrison on their wedding day. 50 years ago, both of them young, smiling, believing they had forever. Look at this, Cole held it up. They were actually kind of cute. Were, Trent emphasized past tense. She's dead now, right, old man? Harrison couldn't speak, could only nod. How'd she die? Cancer. The word came out as a sob. 3 years ago, ovarian cancer. She fought for 8 months, but 8 months. Trent whistled. That's rough. Bet it was expensive. Wiped out our savings, her medical bills, everything So you're broke and alone. Trent laughed. Man, your life sucks. It's my life, Harrison said with what little dignity he had left. It's mine, and you have no right. Cole threw Sarah's photograph against the wall. The glass shattered, the frame splintered. Sarah's smiling face stared out from the wreckage. No. Harrison tried to crawl toward it. His broken ribs made breathing agony. His knee dragged useless behind him. No, please, that's all I have. You keep saying that. Trent crouched went beside him, close enough that Harrison could see his eyes through the bandana. Young eyes, cruel eyes, empty eyes. I have. All I have. Like we're supposed to care. I'm not asking you to care. I'm asking you to have mercy. Mercy, Trent's voice was soft, almost gentle. Old man, you don't get mercy. You get whatever we decide to give you. Because right now, in this moment, we got all the power. And you got nothing. He was right. Harrison knew he was right. 3 young men, strong, violent, and 1 elderly veteran who could barely walk, who could barely breathe, who couldn't even protect his own dog. My daughter, Harrison tried one more time. My daughter is in the military, special operations. If she finds out, Blake laughed. Bro, we're posting this video online. She's going to find out. She's going to see her dad getting his ass kicked. And there's nothing she can do about it, she'll come for you. She won't even know who we are, Trent said. Our faces are covered. We'll post it from a burner account. And by the time anyone figures it out, we'll be long gone. She'll find you. Harrison's voice was barely a whisper. Mackenzie will find you. And when she does what? Trent stood. She'll cry. She'll call the cops. She'll realize she should have been here protecting you instead of playing soldier somewhere else. Harrison had no answer. Because Trent was right about that too. Mackenzie was 7,000 miles away, living her own life, fighting her own battles. And Harrison was here, alone, bleeding on his floor, forgotten. They took everything of value, $600, Sarah's jewelry, Harrison's medals, even his Purple Heart. Trent held it in front of the camera one last time. This is what I think about heroes. He dropped it in the trash. Harrison made a sound, not a word, just a broken animal sound of pure grief. Because that medal wasn't just metal. It was proof that once 32 years ago he'd mattered. He'd been strong. He'd saved lives. He'd been a warrior. And now he was nothing. Just like Trent said. They walked toward the door. Harrison's vision was blurring. Blood loss. Pain. Trauma. His body was shutting down. Wait, he whispered. Please, call 911. My dog needs help. Please. But they were already gone. Door slamming behind them. Laughing as they walked away. Leaving Harrison and Diesel bleeding on the floor. Leaving them to die. Harrison reached out. Found Diesel's paw. Held it with what little strength remained. It's okay, boy. We're okay. Mackenzie will come. She'll find us. But Mackenzie was 7,000 miles away. Mackenzie didn't know. Wouldn't know. Until it was too late. Harrison's eyes closed. Darkness swallowed him. And somewhere in Iraq at Forward Operating Base, Taji Staff Sergeant Mackenzie Brennan jerked awake at 03:47 hours Baghdad time with her heart pounding and a single thought screaming in her mind. Dad's in trouble. Mackenzie Brennan didn't believe in psychic connections, didn't believe in premonitions or sixth sense or any of that mystical nonsense. She believed in training, in discipline, in facts. But she knew her father was in danger. Combat instinct, pattern recognition, the animal part of the brain that kept soldiers alive when logic failed. Her barracks mate specialist Jennifer Walsh stirred in the next bunk. Brennan, you okay? Yeah, Max sat up, checked her phone. 03:47 hours, Sunday morning Baghdad time, which meant Saturday night California time, 17:47 hours. Dad would be watching the news, having dinner. Safe. Except he wasn't safe. She knew it. She dialed his number, right to voicemail. That wasn't unusual. Harrison sometimes forgot to charge his phone, or left it in another room, or just didn't hear it ring. Dad, it's me. Call me back right now. I need to know you're okay. She waited 1 minute, two, three. No callback? Mac tried again. Same result. The feeling in her gut was getting worse. She called her CO, Captain Raymond Fletcher, 48 years old, prior enlisted, understood the gravity in her voice. Sir, I need emergency leave. Family emergency. My father. I think something happened. Is your father in the hospital? I don't know, sir. He's not answering his phone. Then you don't have grounds for emergency leave. You can request regular leave, but it'll take 48 hours to process. Sir, with all due respect, I know something's wrong. I need to get home now. Sergeant Brennan. Fletcher's voice was gentle but firm. I understand you're concerned, but policy is policy. Call local police for a welfare check. I'll expedite your leave request. Best I can do. Mac hung up, called Oceanside Police Department, gave them Harrison's address, explained the situation. Got the same response. We'll send someone when we can, ma'am. We're short-staffed tonight. Might be a few hours. A few hours, my father could be. Ma'am, unless you have reason to believe he's in immediate danger. I do believe that. Do you have evidence of a medical emergency, a crime in progress? No, but then we'll get there when we can. Leave your number. We'll call you with an update. Mac hung up, stared at her phone, felt utterly helpless. Her father was in trouble. She knew it, felt it in her bones. But she was 7,000 miles away in a war zone, and there was nothing she could do except wait. So she waited, paced the barracks, called Harrison's phone every 5 minutes, left voicemails she knew wouldn't be heard, and prayed she wasn't already too late. Because the worst part of being a warrior, the absolute worst part, was knowing all your training, all your skills, all your strength, meant nothing when the people you loved were in danger and you couldn't reach them. Staff Sergeant Mackenzie Brennan was Army Military Police. She'd conducted convoy security in 12 Iraqi cities. She'd survived 3 IED blasts. She'd faced insurgent ambushes without flinching. But right now, at 0347 hours on a Sunday morning in Baghdad, she was just a terrified daughter who couldn't protect her father. And that feeling would haunt her for the rest of her life. The call came at 0523 hours Baghdad time. Mac was still pacing, still trying Harrison's number. When an unknown California number lit up the screen, she answered before the first ring finished. Hello, is this Mackenzie Brennan? A woman's voice. Older, shaking. Harrison's daughter. Mac's heart stopped. Yes, who is this? What happened to my father? My name is Evelyn Porter. I'm your father's neighbor. Mackenzie, I'm so sorry. He's been hurt. Badly. 3 men broke into his house. They beat him and Diesel. They hurt Diesel too. The ambulance just took them both away. The phone slipped from Mac's hand, hit the concrete floor. She stared at the wall, unable to process. Her father, beaten, dying. While she was 7,000 miles away doing nothing. She picked up the phone with trembling hands. Which hospital? Oceanside Regional. But Mackenzie, you need to know. It's bad. Really bad. He wasn't conscious when they took him. The paramedics said. Evelyn's voice broke. They said it's critical. I'm on my way. Mac was already moving, grabbing her gear. Tell him I'm coming. Tell him to hold on. Tell him. Her voice broke. She couldn't finish. I will. Evelyn promised. I'll stay with him until you get here. He won't be alone. I promise you that. Mac hung up. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely dial Fletcher. Sir, it's Brennan. My father's been attacked. He's in critical condition. I need emergency leave right now. There was a pause. Then pack your gear, Sergeant. I'll have you on the next flight out. Go. The next 36 hours blurred together. C-130 from Taji to Kuwait. Commercial flight, Kuwait to Frankfurt. Frankfurt to LAX. 14 hours in the air, 4 hours in layovers. Every minute an eternity. Every minute wondering if Harrison was still alive. Mac didn't sleep, couldn't. Just sat in her uniform, duffel at her feet, watching the seatback display count down miles. 7,000, 6,000, 5,000. Getting closer but never close enough. Somewhere over the Atlantic, her teammate forwarded her a link. Just 4 words, Brennan, this isn't your dad, is it? Mac pressed play. The video loaded. 4 minutes, 37 seconds. Filmed on a phone. Posted from an account called Nightcrawlers 213. And there was Harrison, her father, on the floor, bleeding, begging. Please, not the dog. He's just trying to protect me. Please. Diesel's yelp of pain, the laughter, the mocking, Harrison crying over Sarah's shattered photograph, over his scattered medals, over Diesel's broken body, and then Trent's voice, crystal clear. "You're invisible, Grandpa. You don't matter. And this video is going to prove it. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to help. You're going to die alone in this house and the world will keep spinning without you." Mac watched it twice, memorized every word, every face. Even partially masked, she could see enough. Every laugh, every kick, every moment of her father's humiliation. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. They were steady, ice cold, because the grief had transformed into something else, something dangerous, pure, focused. Rage. The woman sitting next to her glanced over, saw Mac's expression, immediately looked away. Some survival instinct warning her not to engage with whatever was happening inside the soldier sitting rigid in her seat. Mac forwarded the video to herself, saved it, then typed a message to the Oceanside Police Department. Just one sentence. "I'm coming home, and we're going to find them." The plane landed at 14:15 hours Pacific time, 36 hours since Evelyn's call. 36 hours since Harrison had been beaten nearly to death. 36 hours wondering if she'd make it home in time to say goodbye. Mac didn't go to baggage claim, didn't stop at the restroom, just ran through LAX in full Army combat uniform, duffel over one shoulder, cover in hand. People stared, some saluted. She didn't notice. Outside, she grabbed a taxi. "Oceanside Regional Hospital. I'll pay double if you get me there in 45 minutes. The driver looked at her uniform, at her face, at the way her jaw was set like concrete. He nodded, pulled into traffic, didn't ask questions. Oceanside was 70 miles north. Should have taken 90 minutes. The driver made it in 53. Mac gave him $300. Didn't wait for change. She found Evelyn in the ICU waiting room, 78 years old, white hair, kind eyes, holding a coffee cup with both hands like it was the only thing keeping her together. "Mackenzie," Evelyn stood when she saw her. "I recognize you from Harrison's photos." "Where is he?" Mac's voice was flat, empty, the voice she used on patrol when emotion was a liability. "Third floor, ICU, room 312. But Mackenzie, before you go up there..." Evelyn's eyes filled with tears. "You need to know. He's alive. Barely. The doctors said if I'd found him 10 minutes later..." She couldn't finish. "What are his injuries?" "Fractured skull, severe concussion, 3 broken ribs, 1 punctured his lung, internal bleeding. They had to do emergency surgery. And his knee, the one that was already damaged. They said..." Evelyn's voice dropped to a whisper. "They said he'll never walk right again. Maybe never walk at all." Mac felt something crack inside her chest, but she kept her face neutral, controlled. Mission face, the same expression she wore when calling in medevac for wounded soldiers. "And Diesel, vet hospital on Pacific Coast Highway. He's alive too. But he has broken ribs, internal injuries, severe trauma. They're not sure if he'll make it. And even if he does, the vet said he might not be the same dog. The injuries. I want their names." Mac's voice was ice. "The men who did this. I want everything the police have. Every detail." "Mackenzie, the police are handling. Are they?" Mac looked Evelyn in the eyes. "Because from what I saw in that video, those men don't think anyone's coming for them. Don't think anyone cares. They're wrong." Evelyn stepped back, because the woman standing in front of her wearing her Army uniform with perfect precision, speaking in a voice devoid of emotion, wasn't someone you argued with. She was someone you got out of the way of. "Room 312, Evelyn whispered. Mac went upstairs, found the room, pushed open the door, and stopped. Because the man in the bed wasn't Harrison Brennan, wasn't her father, wasn't the warrior who'd raised her alone after her mother died, who'd taught her to shoot, to stand up for herself, to never quit. This was a broken shell, face swollen beyond recognition, tubes everywhere, machines beeping, breathing with mechanical assistance. Mac pulled up a chair, sat down, took Harrison's hand, the one not wrapped in bandages. "Dad," her voice cracked for the first time. "Dad, it's Mac. I'm here now." Nothing, no response, just the steady beep of the heart monitor. "I saw the video. I know what they did to you. And Dad," Mac's voice broke completely. "I'm so sorry. I should have been here. I should have protected you." "That's not true, Sam." Mac's head snapped up. A nurse had entered, older woman, kind eyes, name tag read Patricia. Your father talks about you constantly. Patricia checked the IV. Every nurse on this floor knows about Staff Sergeant Mackenzie Brennan, Army Military Police, 2 tours Iraq, 1 Afghanistan, Bronze Star. He's so proud of you. Mac couldn't speak. He didn't want you giving up your career to take care of him. Patricia's voice was gentle. He told me that himself last month when he was here for a checkup. Said you'd offered to request stateside duty to be closer. And he told you no. Said you were needed out there protecting people, not babysitting an old man. After she left, Max sat alone with Harrison for 2 hours, just holding his hand, watching him breathe, making promises she wasn't sure she could keep. I'm going to find them, Dad, the men who did this. And I'm going to make sure they pay. At 1800 hours, someone knocked. Mac turned. A man stood in the doorway, 45 years old, a detective's badge on his belt, salt and pepper hair, tired eyes that had seen too much. Staff Sergeant Brennan, I'm Detective Brendan Whitlock, Oceanside PD. I'm investigating your father's assault. Mac stood. Have you found them? We're working on it. That video has been very helpful. We've identified 2 of the 3 suspects, Trent Ashford and Cole Ramsey. Both have priors. The third one, the one filming, we're still working on ID. I can help with that. Sergeant Brennan. Whitlock's voice was gentle but firm. I appreciate your desire to help, but this is a police matter. You need to let us handle it. I need something from you, Whitlock said quietly. A statement, on video, about your father, about what he means to you, about why this matters. Those boys said your father was invisible. Prove them wrong. Mac looked at Harrison, unconscious, broken, breathing through a machine. Okay, she said, I'll do it. That night, Mac recorded a 3-minute video sitting in Harrison's hospital room, wearing her uniform, speaking directly to camera. Her voice never wavered, never broke, pure, controlled emotion. She told the truth about Harrison, about what those men had done, about what they'd taken, and she made a promise. To the 3 men who did this, I'm coming for you, not with violence, not with revenge, but with justice. You wanted this video to go viral. Congratulations. It did. And now millions of people know your faces, know what you did, and they're going to help me find you. She posted it at 21:47 hours, exactly 24 hours after the attack. Within an hour, it had 100,000 views. By morning, it had 2 million, and the tips started flooding in. The call came at 02:37 hours, 48 hours after Mac's video went viral, 3 days after the attack. Detective Whitlock's voice was tight with controlled excitement. We found them, all 3. Mac sat up in the hospital chair where she'd been sleeping. Harrison still unconscious, still breathing through machines, still fighting for every breath. Where Blake Morrison turned himself in 2 hours ago, Mac felt something shift. Twist number 3, the youngest one, the one filming, broke first. His girlfriend saw your video, Whitlock continued. Sienna Hayes, 20 years old, college student. She recognized the house in the background, called us, then called Blake's mother. They brought him in together. He's been crying since he walked through the door. And the others. Trent Ashford and Cole Ramsey were arrested 30 minutes ago, hiding at Cole's cousin's warehouse in Carlsbad. Thought they were clever, turned off their phones, stayed off social media. But Blake gave us everything. Addresses, hangouts, their entire operation. Mac's hand tightened on the phone. Operation. They've been doing this for 6 months. 8 elderly veterans total. Your father was number 8. We found evidence in the warehouse. Stolen property. Videos they never posted. Planning documents for future targets. The world went very still, very cold. They were hunting veterans, specifically elderly ones living alone. They'd scout neighborhoods, watch patterns, wait for the right moment. Whitlock paused. Your video broke them, Brennan. 7 million views now. Tips from 43 states. These boys thought they were invisible. Turns out they were the ones nobody could hide. I want to be there when you interrogate them. Observation room only. You speak to them, touch them, even look at them wrong through that glass you're out. Clear by Mr. Crystal. Be here at 0900 hours. Mac arrived at Oceanside Police Department at 0847 hours. Showered, uniform pressed, cover under her arm. She looked like she was reporting for duty. In a way, she was. Whitlock met her at the entrance, led her through security, down a hallway that smelled like stale coffee and broken dreams, into a small room with a one-way mirror. They don't know you're watching. Keep it that way. Through the glass, Max saw him, Trent Ashford, 26 years old, USC dropout. Trust fund kid who'd never worked a real day in his life. Slouched in his chair like this was detention, not a murder investigation. Because if Harrison died, that's exactly what this would become. Murder. Whitlock entered the interrogation room, sat down, opened a file folder, said nothing for 30 seconds. Classic technique. Let the silence work. Trent broke first. I want my lawyer. You'll get one, but first let's talk about what you did to Harrison Brennan. Never heard of him. Whitlock pulled out a photograph. Harrison before the attack. Smiling, healthy, alive, holding Diesel. Both of them in the backyard. Evelyn had taken that photo 3 weeks ago. Ring any bells now? Trent barely glanced at it. Nope. Really? Because we have a video of you beating him unconscious, of you throwing his wife's ashes against a wall, of you kicking his dog until it couldn't breathe. Wasn't me. Your face is on camera, Trent. Your voice, your words. You told that man he was invisible, that nobody cared about him. Remember that? Trent leaned back, smirked. Lawyer, I want my lawyer. Whitlock leaned forward. You know what's interesting? That video you posted. It has 7 million views now. 7 million people have seen what you did. And they're not laughing, Trent. They're furious. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Trent's face. Veteran groups, elder advocacy organizations, regular people who are sick of entitled punks thinking they can hurt vulnerable people without consequences. Whitlock stood. You wanted to be famous. Congratulations. You are, but not the way you thought. 2 hours later, Mac watched Cole Ramsey's interrogation. Different animal. No smirking, no arrogance. Just rage, pure impotent rage at being caught. This is bullshit. Cole slammed his fist on the table. That old man attacked us first. His dog bit Trent. We were defending ourselves. Defending yourselves. Whitlock's voice was ice. By kicking a 70-year-old disabled veteran in the head, by filming his suffering for social media, he gave us permission to take stuff. He said that while you were beating him, while his ribs were breaking, while he was bleeding on his own floor. You call that consent? Cole's jaw worked. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Trent said it would be easy. How many times have you done this before? I want a lawyer. Blake Morrison's interrogation was different. The kid couldn't stop crying, 19 years old, babyface, probably never been in trouble before. His mother sat beside him, late 40s, exhausted, devastated. Tell them everything, Blake. She gripped his hand. Everything. The truth. Blake nodded, wiped his eyes, started talking. We met Trent at a party 6 months ago. He seemed cool, confident. He started talking about how easy it would be to rob old people. They're weak. They don't fight back. And you believed him. I wanted to fit in. Trent made me feel included, important. Blake's voice cracked. So when he said we should do it, I said yes. I didn't think about who we were hurting. I just thought about the views. How many times? 8. Mr. Brennan was the 8th. Blake looked directly at Whitlock. I know their names, all of them. I kept a list. I can give you everything. His mother started crying. I'm so sorry, Mom. Mac watched through the glass, felt nothing, no sympathy. Blake Morrison was 19, old enough to know better. But she also saw something else. Genuine remorse. Real horror at what he'd done. Whitlock saw it too. Blake, I'm going to be straight with you. You're looking at serious time. But if you cooperate fully, if you testify against Trent and Cole, the DA might offer a deal. Blake nodded. I'll do it, whatever you need. Harrison woke up on day 6. Mac was reading to him from the newspaper. Article about the arrests, about the outcry. Mac, the newspaper fell. Mac grabbed his hand. Dad, I'm here. Harrison's eyes focused slowly, confused, disoriented. Then memory crashed back and his whole body tensed. Diesel. Where's Diesel? He's alive, Dad, at the vet hospital. He's gonna make it. They kicked him. I couldn't stop them. I know. I saw the video, but Dad, listen. Diesel's alive. You're alive. That's what matters. The video. Harrison's face went pale. They posted it. Everyone's going to see how weak I was. You weren't weak. Mac gripped his hand harder. You tried to protect Diesel. You stood up to 3 armed men. That's not weakness, Dad. That's courage. I begged them. The whole world is going to see a brave man who was attacked by cowards. Mac's voice was fierce. Dad, your video has been seen by 10 million people. And every single comment is supporting you, calling you a hero. Harrison closed his eyes. I don't feel like a hero. I feel broken. You're Harrison Brennan, Gulf War veteran. You survived Iraqi artillery. You raised me alone. You're going to survive this too. The doctors confirmed it later. Dr. Raymond Kim, trauma specialist, 50s, seen too many shattered minds to sugarcoat anything. Your father is showing signs of severe PTSD. The physical damage is extensive, but the psychological damage is worse. What does that mean? He's going to struggle with fear, with trust, with feeling safe. We're recommending psychiatric evaluation and ongoing therapy. He won't do therapy. Then he's going to suffer, Dr. Kim said bluntly. The ones who refuse help don't heal. They just survive. And surviving isn't living. That night, Mac made a decision. She called her CO, requested extended compassionate reassignment, 6 months stateside to care for Harrison. Approved. Captain Fletcher didn't hesitate. Take care of your father. That's your mission now. Package arrived on day 9, small box, no return address, just Harrison's name written in shaky handwriting. Mac opened it carefully. Inside was a letter, handwritten on notebook paper, prison letterhead. Mr. Brennan, I know you'll never forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness, but I need you to know I'm sorry. Every day I think about what we did to you. Every night I have nightmares. My lawyer says I should keep quiet. That apologizing could hurt my case. But I don't care about my case. I care that you know I'm sorry. I was stupid. I followed Trent because I wanted to be cool, and I destroyed your life because of it. I hope you're healing. I hope your daughter is taking care of you. Blake Morrison. Harrison read it 3 times, then handed it to Mac. What do I do with this? Burn it. Mac's voice was flat. He's manipulating you. Maybe, but he sounds genuinely sorry. He filmed you, laughed while you bled. I know what he did. Harrison looked at the letter again. But he's 19. What if he can change? Against every instinct, Mac helped Harrison write back. Short, measured, Blake. I received your letter. I appreciate your apology. It doesn't erase what happened, but it's a start. Use this time to become someone better. Harrison Brennan. The preliminary hearing happened 2 weeks after the attack. Harrison insisted on attending, against doctor's orders. I need to face them, Harrison said from his wheelchair. I need to prove I'm not hiding. Mac wheeled him into the courthouse. Metal detectors, security, cameras everywhere. Media frenzy. Trent, Cole, and Blake sat at separate defense tables. Trent looked defiant. Cole looked angry. Blake looked terrified. The judge entered. Honorable Margaret Walsh, 68 years old, former prosecutor, no patience for excuses. We're here for preliminary hearing in the matter of People versus Ashford, Ramsey, and Morrison. She looked at the defendants. How do you plead? Trent's lawyer stood. Not guilty, Your Honor. Cole's lawyer echoed the plea, but when it came to Blake, there was a pause. His lawyer stood slowly. Your Honor, my client wishes to cooperate fully with the prosecution. He's prepared to testify against his co-defendants in exchange for a reduced sentence. Twist number 5. The courtroom erupted. Trent lunged toward Blake. You snitch, you're dead. Deputies restrained him. Judge Walsh slammed her gavel. Order Mr. Ashford one more outburst and you'll be held in contempt. After the hearing, Harrison was silent. Mac wheeled him to the parking lot, helped him into the truck. Still nothing. Dad talked to me. I looked at them, and you know what I felt? Nothing, like they'd hollowed me out. Mac's chest tightened. That's not true. I used to be strong, survived Desert Storm, raised you alone, and now I can't even protect myself. What am I if I'm not strong? You're my father, that's enough. Is it? Because right now it feels like I'm just a burden. Because I love you. Mac's voice cracked. Because you're my father, and I almost lost you. You taught me that family means showing up even when it's hard. Harrison was quiet for a long moment. I'm scared, Mac, all the time. They're in jail. They're not getting bail. But Mac could see the fear didn't leave Harrison's eyes, because logic didn't cure trauma. 2 days later, Mac got a call from Evelyn. There's someone here to see Harrison. Says he runs a therapy group at the VA. Walter Garrison stood on Harrison's porch, 75 years old, missing his left leg below the knee, prosthetic visible beneath his jeans. Gulf War veteran. Harrison Brennan. That's me. Walter Garrison. I run a PTSD support group at the VA. For combat veterans who've been assaulted stateside. He paused. I saw your video. Thought you might want to talk. I don't need therapy. Didn't say you did. Said you might want to talk. Harrison looked at Mac. She nodded. Your choice, Dad. Come in. Walter sat at the kitchen table, got straight to business. How you sleeping? I'm not. Nightmares. Every time I close my eyes. Leaving the house. Can't, I'm afraid. Walter nodded. I felt the same way. Got jumped outside a grocery store 3 years ago. 2 kids. Broke my jaw. I survived Iraqi artillery, but 2 kids destroyed me. Harrison looked up. What did you do? Refused help for 6 months, thought therapy was for weak people. Then I tried to kill myself. Walter's voice was matter of fact. Sat in my garage with a gun in my mouth. What stopped you? My granddaughter, she was 5, came running out. I looked at her and realized I was about to make her find my body. So I put the gun down. And I got help. I don't want to sit in a room with strangers. Then just listen. Come to one meeting. If you hate it, you never have to come back. Harrison looked at Mac, his choice. One meeting. Thursday night, 1900 hours. VA hospital. Thursday came. Mac drove Harrison to the VA. They found the room, 12 chairs in a circle, 10 already occupied. Walter stood when they entered. Gentlemen, we have someone new. Harrison, you want to introduce yourself? Harrison sat in his wheelchair. I'm Harrison Brennan, Gulf War, 1991, Purple Heart. I was attacked in my home 3 weeks ago. 3 men broke in, beat me, hurt my dog, and I can't stop being afraid. The room was silent. Then a man across the circle spoke. I'm Kenneth Palmer, Iraq, 2005. I was robbed at gunpoint 2 years ago. Kid couldn't have been more than 16, and I know exactly how you feel. Another man spoke. David Young, Afghanistan. I got jumped outside of my apartment 5 years ago. I still can't walk past that building. One by one they shared, all attacked after coming home, all struggling with the same shame. That's PTSD talking, Walter said gently. It tells you you're weak, but that's a lie. You survived. Coming here takes strength. Harrison started crying, right there in front of 11 strangers. Nobody judged, they just sat with him, because they'd all been there. After the meeting, Walter approached Harrison. You did good today. I just cried. You trusted us with your pain. That's the first step. Walter put his hand on Harrison's shoulder. Healing isn't linear. Some days you'll feel strong, others you'll feel like you're right back on that floor. But you keep showing up. When does it get better? Different for everyone. For me, it took 3 years before I could sleep through the night. But I got there, and you will too. Harrison started attending every week. Sometimes he talked, sometimes he just listened. But he showed up, and slowly Harrison started changing. The trial began on a Monday morning in February, 4 months after the attack. The courthouse was packed. Media, veteran groups, elder advocacy organizations. Mac wheeled Harrison in. Despite 4 months of physical therapy, Harrison still couldn't walk the distance from the parking lot. Inside, the courtroom felt like a cathedral. High ceilings, wood paneling, the weight of justice pressing down. Trent Cole and Blake sat at their respective tables. Blake's deal had been finalized. Guilty plea to reduce charges in exchange for testimony. Judge Walsh entered. Everyone stood, except Harrison. The trial would last 2 weeks. Prosecutor Judith Callahan was confident. We have the video, we have Blake's testimony, we have forensic evidence. This is the strongest elder abuse case I've ever prosecuted. The prosecution case unfolded methodically. Forensic experts testified about injuries. Doctors described the medical treatment. Evelyn Martinez described finding Harrison bleeding on his floor. The jury watched the video, all 4 minutes and 37 seconds. Some of them cried, others looked away. Then Blake took the stand. He was sworn in, sat down, started crying immediately. I'm so sorry for what we did. His lawyer stood. Blake, can you tell the jury what happened on the night of October 17th? We broke into Mr. Brennan's house. Trent said he knew a house we could rob. An old guy living alone, said it would be easy. Did you express any objection? I didn't want to, but Trent said I was weak if I didn't come. So I went. Blake described everything. The planning, the attack, the filming. I laughed, I filmed, I treated this man's suffering like entertainment. And I'll never forgive myself. But Trent's lawyer cross-examined aggressively. You're testifying against your friends to save yourself, aren't you? They're not my friends. Friends don't make you do evil things. But you did do evil things. I know, and I hate myself for it. But at least I'm trying to make it right. At least I'm telling the truth instead of lying like they are. The judge called a recess. Blake was escorted out. Trent was screaming obscenities. On day 12, Harrison took the stand. Prosecutor Callahan helped him to the witness box. He was using his cane. Walking, barely, but walking. Mac could see what it cost him. The pain, the exhaustion, the sheer force of will. Mr. Brennan, can you tell the jury what happened on October 17th? Harrison described it all. The glass breaking, the three men, the beating, Diesel trying to protect him, Margaret Sarah's photograph destroyed, the mocking, the filming. His voice never wavered, never broke. Pure, controlled emotion. They said I was invisible, that nobody cared about me, and part of me believed them. Harrison looked at the jury. Because I was alone, my wife dead, my daughter deployed. I thought maybe they were right. He paused. But I was wrong. I matter. My daughter came home from a war zone to prove it. When Trent's lawyer cross-examined trying to break him, Harrison simply lifted his shirt, showed the scars. Does this look provoke to you? The lawyer sat down. Mac testified next. In full dress uniform. Described Harry Bird raising her alone after her mother died. My father served this country in Desert Storm. He raised me to serve too. And these men attacked him because they thought he was weak. They were wrong. The jury deliberated 4 hours. When they returned, the foreman stood. On all charges against Trent Ashford, guilty. Against Cole Ramsey, guilty. Judge Walsh slammed her gavel. Sentencing in 2 weeks, Trent 18 years. Cole 15 years. Blake 6 years. Harrison sat motionless as they led them away in handcuffs. Outside the courthouse, Mac wheeled Harrison to the truck. It's done, Dad. Yeah, it's done. Harrison stared out the window. So why don't I feel better? Because justice doesn't erase trauma, but it's a start. That night, Harrison cried, really cried, deep wrenching sobs, grieving everything he'd lost. Mac held him, let him break. And when he finally stopped, Harrison whispered, I thought the verdict would fix me, but I still feel broken. You're not broken, Dad. You're rebuilding. And rebuilding takes 6 months past. Winter turned to spring. The world kept spinning. Harrison attended therapy every Thursday, group sessions with Walter, sometimes individual counseling with Dr. Kim. Slow progress, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But progress. The nightmares came less frequently. Once a week instead of every night. Harrison started sleeping in his own bed again, started going outside without checking every window first. The first real milestone came on a Tuesday morning in April. Mac woke at 0600 hours like always. Made coffee, started breakfast, realized Harrison wasn't up yet. She knocked on his door. No answer. Panic spiked. She pushed it open. Harrison was asleep, breathing steady, peaceful. No nightmares. He woke at 0730, saw Mac in the doorway. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. You slept through the night. Harrison blinked, processed. I did. For the first time in 6 months. Harrison sat up slowly. I slept. His voice was wonder. I actually slept. That's huge, Dad. Thank you for not giving up on me. You're my father. Where else would I be? They sat together watching sunrise, both scarred, both healing, both understanding that survival was just the beginning. In August, 18 months after the attack, Diesel passed away peacefully in his sleep. Harrison found him at dawn, lying in his favorite spot by the back door, still warm, still peaceful, just gone. Twist number 6. Mac drove him to the vet. Dr. Mitchell confirmed what Harrison already knew. Diesel's heart, damaged too severely during the beating, he'd fought for 18 months, given Harrison time to heal, to rebuild. But the injuries had finally won. They buried Diesel in the backyard under the oak tree. Walter and the therapy group came. Evelyn brought flowers. Even Detective Whitlock attended. Harrison's eulogy was brief. He saved my life that night, fought them even though fighting broke him, spent his last year protecting me when I couldn't protect myself. He was a warrior, the best kind. After everyone left, Harrison sat alone at the grave. I've buried my wife, buried my old self. Now I'm burying my best friend. His voice was steady, resolved. I'm tired of funerals, but I'm not giving up. Mac found him there an hour later. You okay? No, but I will be. Harrison stood slowly, because that's what Diesel taught me. You keep going even when everything hurts. 3 weeks later, Walter brought Scout, young German Shepherd, 2 years old, trained as a therapy dog. Diesel can't be replaced. Walter said, but that doesn't mean you have to be alone. Harrison hesitated, then knelt down. Let Scout sniff his hand. The dog sat, waited, patient. Okay, Scout, let's see if an old soldier can teach you anything. In May, a letter arrived. Morgan Lancaster, LA Times investigative reporter, Staff Sergeant Ron. Brennan, I've been following your father's case. I think there's a bigger story here, about elder veteran abuse that needs to be told. Would your father be willing to be interviewed, Morgan Lancaster? Mac showed it to Harrison. I don't want to be in the spotlight. Then this is how you move on, Mac said gently, by making sure what happened to you helps other people. Harrison thought about it for 3 days, finally agreed. Morgan came to the house on a Thursday afternoon, professional, respectful, asked permission before each question. Mr. Brennan, can you tell me what happened? Harrison told her everything. How has it affected you? I can barely sleep. I have nightmares. I'm afraid in my own home. They took my dignity, my sense of safety. What do you want people to know? Harrison was quiet for a long moment. I want them to know that elderly people aren't disposable. We're not forgotten. We serve this country, raise families, build communities, and we deserve to live our final years with dignity and safety. The article ran the following Sunday. Front page. Veterans attack sparks call for elder protection reform. Harrison's face stared out from newsstands across California. Response was overwhelming. Letters poured in, hundreds of them, from veterans, from elderly people who'd been attacked, from families, from advocates. One letter stood out, handwritten on flowered stationery. Mr. Brennan, my name is Patricia Donovan. I'm 74 years old. Last year, 3 teenagers broke into my home, beat me, left me for dead. I was in the hospital for 2 months. The police caught them, but the prosecutor said the case wasn't strong enough. They got probation. I stopped leaving my house, stopped trusting people, stopped believing justice existed. Then I saw your interview, heard you say we're not forgotten. And something broke open inside me. Hope. Thank you for not staying silent. Patricia Donovan, Harrison read it 3 times, then looked at Mac. She thanked me like I did something heroic, but I just told the truth. Sometimes that's the most heroic thing you can do. That night, Harrison couldn't sleep, not from nightmares, from thoughts, ideas, possibilities. At 0200 hours, he found Mac in the kitchen. Can't sleep, Mac asked. Too many thoughts. Harrison sat down. Patricia's letter, it made me think. There are thousands like her. Elderly veterans attacked and forgotten. What if we showed them people do care? What do you mean, what if we actually did something? Not just talked about it, actually helped. Security systems, self-defense training, buddy check-ins, something that actually protects elderly veterans. That would take money, organization. I have time, I have my disability pension, and I have a daughter who knows how to run operations. Harrison looked at her. If you're interested. Max stared at him, saw something she hadn't seen in months. Fire, purpose, life. You're serious. I'm tired of being a victim. If I'm going to carry this trauma, I might as well make it mean something. Mac made a decision that had been forming for weeks. I'm taking medical retirement from the Army. Harrison started to protest. You don't have to. I'm not giving it up for you. I'm choosing something different, something that matters more. Mac reached across the table. I've been a warrior for 8 years. Now I want to protect warriors like you. You're sure? I've never been more sure of anything. They started planning that night. Organization structure, services offered, funding sources, Sentinel Shield, home security and support for elderly veterans. Walter Garrison signed on immediately, brought the entire therapy group. Evelyn joined the advisory board. Dr. Kim offered consultation. They incorporated as a nonprofit in June, started fundraising, small donations at first. Then Morgan Lancaster wrote a follow-up article. Gulf War Vet starts nonprofit to protect fellow veterans. Donations increased. Local businesses offering free services. Security companies donating equipment. By August, they'd installed 32 systems. By October, 67. By December, over 100. Each installation was the same. Mac and Harrison would arrive together, father and daughter team. They'd assess the home, install cameras, motion sensors, panic buttons. But more than that, they'd stay, have coffee, listen. One installation stood out. Early December, 2 years almost to the day after the attack. An elderly Marine in Riverside, 82 years old, Korean War veteran, living alone. His name was Frank Morrison, no relation to Blake. But when Harrison heard the name, something tightened in his chest. They installed the system in 3 hours. When they finished, Frank made them coffee, insisted they sit. You don't know what this means. Frank's hands shook. I fought at Chosin Reservoir, survived Chinese attacks, came home thinking I was safe. Then last year some kids broke in, beat me. Police never caught them. I've been afraid every night since. You're not alone in that, Harrison said quietly. I know. Read about what happened to you, about your daughter coming home, about you fighting back by helping others. Frank looked at Mac. You raised her right. She taught me that. Harrison glanced at Mac. I thought duty meant serving your country. She showed me it also means serving the people who already served. In December, a letter arrived from prison, from Blake Morrison, 18 months into his sentence. Ms. Brennan, I know I have no right to contact you, but I need you to know about something I started here. It's called the Veteran Honor Project. I teach young inmates about consequences of violence. We watch that video of what we did to your father. Every single session. I make them watch it. Make them see his face, his pain. 52 inmates have gone through the program. All of them have written apology letters to veterans. I can never give back what I took from your father. But maybe I can prevent 52 others from taking in the first place. Blake Morrison. Max showed it to Harrison. What do you think? I think he's trying. 52 inmates learning to respect veterans. That's something. Do you want to respond? Harrison thought about it. No, but you should visit him. Me. You're better at reading people. And if he's really trying to change, maybe he deserves acknowledgement. 3 days later, Mac drove to Centinela State Prison. Blake looked smaller than she remembered. Prison had stripped away the cockiness, left just a scared kid trying to atone. They sat across a metal table. Guard nearby. Blake wouldn't meet her eyes. Thank you for coming. I'm here for 10 minutes. Talk. Blake talked about the program, about watching the video week after week, about seeing his younger self laughing while Harrison bled. I was 19. I thought I was invincible. Thought actions didn't have consequences. Thought your father was just content. Not human. Not someone's dad. His voice cracked. I think about him every day. He won't forgive you, Max said flatly. He might understand someday. But forgiveness, that's not something you get to demand. I know, but I can earn it by changing lives. That's redemption, right? Max studied him, looking for manipulation, found only genuine remorse. Keep doing the work. Help those 52 inmates become better men. That's the only redemption that matters. Will you tell your father I'm trying? I'll tell him. What he does with that is up to him. Driving home, Mac thought about second chances, about whether people could really change. She still didn't have answers, but Blake Morrison was trying, and trying counted for something. In January, something bigger happened. Twist number 7. California Assemblyman David Richardson introduced legislation. Assembly Bill 847, enhanced penalties for crimes against elderly victims, mandatory law enforcement training, funding for victim support programs. He called it the Brennan Act. The governor invited Harrison to the signing ceremony. March 15th, Sacramento, state capitol. Harrison almost said no. Too public, too many reminders. But Mac convinced him. This is your legacy, Dad. Show them they failed. The ceremony was everything Harrison feared and needed. Cameras, reporters, politicians, but also veterans. Hundreds of them, standing in the Capitol rotunda, applauding. Governor Sarah Mitchell spoke first. Harrison Brennan's case changed California. His courage inspired this legislation. Because of him, elderly victims will get the protection they deserve. She invited Harrison to the podium to sign the bill into law. Harrison stood, walked without his cane. 2 years of physical therapy. 2 years of refusing to let those men take anything else. He signed his name slowly, carefully, making it official. Then he spoke, unscripted. I'm not a hero, I'm a survivor. There's a difference. Heroes choose their battles. Survivors fight the battles forced upon them. The room was silent. This law is important, but laws alone don't change culture. We need people to see elderly veterans as human beings, not burdens, not targets. Harrison looked directly at the cameras. To every elderly person living in fear, you're not alone. You're not forgotten. You matter. And there are people fighting for you. Applause echoed through the Capitol, standing ovation. After the ceremony, a woman approached. 74, white hair, Patricia Donovan. Mr. Brennan, I'm Patricia. I wrote you a letter. I remember. I wanted to thank you. Your story gave me courage. I reopened my case, used this new law. My attackers were re-prosecuted. They're going to prison now. Real prison. Tears ran down her face. Thank you for not staying quiet. Harrison hugged her. We all matter. Every single one of us. 2 years after the attack, Sentinel Shield had protected 847 elderly veterans. But they weren't done. The 1,000th installation was scheduled for October. Exactly 2 years to the day after Harrison's attack. The veteran receiving the 1,000th system was Robert Hayes, 84 years old, WW2 veteran, Normandy Beach survivor. Mac and Harrison arrived at 0900 hours. Cameras followed. Reporters asked questions. Mr. Hayes, thank you for your service. Call me Robert, and I should be thanking you, what you've built here. It's giving old warriors like me peace of mind. They spent 4 hours installing the system. When they finished, Robert insisted on giving them lunch, sandwiches, and stories about Omaha Beach. You remind me of my son, Robert said to Harrison. He was military too, Army, died in Iraq, 2005. He was 24. I'm sorry. Don't be. He died doing what he believed in, protecting people. Robert looked at Mac. You've got that same look, that same fire. Don't lose it. No, sir. That night, Sentinel Shield hosted a celebration. A hospital auditorium. 200 people. Walter gave a speech. 2 years ago, Harrison Brennan was attacked and left for dead. Those men thought he was forgotten. They were wrong. Harrison not only survived, he thrived. Built something that's protecting warriors across California. Evelyn spoke next. About finding Harrison that night. About watching him transform trauma into purpose. Then Mac. My father taught me that being a warrior isn't about fighting battles. It's about protecting people who can't protect themselves. I'm proud to serve alongside him. Finally, Harrison. He stood slowly, looked at the faces watching him. 3 years ago, 3 men tried to convince me I didn't matter, that I was used up, forgotten. For a long time, I believed them. He paused. But they were wrong. I wasn't forgotten. I just forgot my own worth. Mac helped me remember. So did Walter, Evelyn, Dr. Kim, everyone who refused to let me disappear. Harrison looked directly at Mac. My daughter came home from a war zone to save my life, but I think maybe I saved hers too. Gave her a mission worth fighting for. Applause filled the room. After the celebration, Mac drove Harrison home. The house looked different now. Security cameras visible. Motion sensors active. Safe. Inside, Scout greeted them. 2 years old. Gentle but protective. Harrison made coffee. Mac joined him on the back porch. Same porch where he'd sat broken 3 years ago. But different now. Reclaimed. Safe. Good celebration, Mac said. Best one I've ever had because I'm actually here for it. Not just surviving, but living. I'm proud of you, Dad. I wanted to give up so many times. Harrison looked at his daughter. But then I'd think about you, about Walter, about all those veterans depending on me, and I'd find one more reason to keep going. They sat in comfortable silence. Then Harrison spoke again. Those men were right about one thing. I was forgotten. But not because I didn't matter, because I'd stopped believing I mattered. I'd let loneliness and grief convince me I was disposable. They didn't make me forgotten. I made myself forgotten. He paused. But I'm not forgotten anymore, and I never will be again. Mac gripped his shoulder. No, Dad, you won't. Because Harrison Brennan had learned the hardest lesson a person can learn. That worth isn't given by others. It's claimed, fought for, defended. And once you truly understand your own value, nobody can ever take it away. Not thugs with cameras, not trauma, not time. You matter because you're alive, because you survived, because you refused to let cruelty define you. 4 years after the attack, Sentinel Shield had protected 2,847 elderly veterans across California, expanded into Arizona and Nevada, won national recognition. Harrison was 74 now, still attending therapy, still helping others. The nightmares never fully disappeared. Neither did the fear, but they'd shrunk, become manageable. Mac was 32, director of operations, using her military training to coordinate installations, train volunteers, build systems that protected people. On October 17th, 4 years to the day after the attack, they installed their 1,000th security system, an elderly Navy veteran in Los Angeles, 80 years old, Korean War survivor. His name was George Patterson. George reminded Harrison of himself 4 years ago. Proud, independent, too stubborn to ask for help even when fear kept him awake every night. I fought at Incheon, George said while they installed cameras. Survived North Korean artillery. Came home thinking the war was over. Then last month, some kids tried to break in. Didn't even get inside, but I haven't slept since. Harrison understood. It wasn't about what happened. It was about what could have happened, the violation, the shattering of safety. You're safe now. Harrison secured the final camera. And you're not alone. None of us are. They drove in comfortable silence. Past neighborhoods they'd protected. Past lives they'd changed. Harrison Brennan was 74 years old, Gulf War veteran, Purple Heart recipient, survivor, father, advocate, founder of Sentinel Shield, a warrior who'd proven that the greatest battles aren't fought with weapons. They're fought with courage, persistence, and the absolute refusal to disappear. He mattered. He always had. And now finally he believed it. 3,000 elderly veterans sleeping safer tonight because one man refused to stay forgotten. Because one daughter refused to let her father face darkness alone. Because warriors protect warriors. That's what it means to serve, not just your country, but the people who already served it. That's legacy. That's purpose. That's victory. And Harrison Brennan would spend the rest of his life making sure nobody ever forgot it.